rebuilding. The catastrophic failure, a new start, physically, mentally, our careers, our businesses. Step back, first step, next step. The driver in me just wants to get it done tomorrow. We'll do this, do that, let's move this, where are we at with this? You build some confidence, build some self-esteem, start to feel better about yourself. The Silverback Blueprint Podcast, a show for men over 40. We focus on getting stronger, staying motivated, building discipline, creating a community, and becoming truly happy. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 131 of the Silverback Blueprint Podcast. Higher standards, tougher choices. That's all I got to say about that. That was fantastic. I'm just putting that out there. No, you know what? This is something I've been dealing with personally. I'm going to get real with you. I'm going to get real close with you guys. No, for me, I know that the more I can raise my personal standards as to whatever I'm doing, the standards in my business, the standards for my brand, I know that that's really what's going to keep us growing and getting better and going to the next level. And that's really what I want to do. I want to become better personally. I want to be more master of myself. I want to be able to sit there and control my thoughts and my emotions and be in control. I want to be able to control my body, my nutrition, how I spend my time, my energy. That's really that I'm working hard to do here. And that's really where the changes I've made over the last 9 years, the last 4 years sober, is when I've kept raising my standards. The same for the brand and the business and, for staff and even for clients, raising our standards as to what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. The bare minimum that we're going to accept from ourselves, and then from obviously in our business side, from our service and our products. And one of the things that happens is to raise those standards, you have to make tougher choices. And then once you've done that, then you got to work hard to hold those up. Because moving a standard higher is great, but not being able to hold it up there doesn't work either. So if your standard is to get up earlier, then you got to get up earlier. And if raising, to do that, you have to make tougher choices, then you have to make those tougher choices. One of the things I've been struggling with a little bit is the demands on my time and then how I feel at the end of the day from those demands on my time. How I feel accomplishment-wise, but how I feel energy-wise. And what I'm able to accomplish ongoing and not get done along the way as well. So one of the things I notice is that I'm working more hours at the gym, which is good. I like doing that. I'm working on some things. We've got some transitions happening with staff. We've had some part-time people move on to some things. We've had a coach move on. We've had a couple different things happen like that. And as always, as the owner, my role is to fill the gap, and then, toe the line until we find that right person to come in. But every time we do that, I work on raising the standard of the employee we bring in. What level of employee are we looking for? The standard of a coach. What level of a coach are we looking to do? The staff that are with me and been with me a long time, we're always working on increasing our standards as well too. But at the end of the day, sometimes it's easier to raise a standard before you fill a position as well. Here's my minimum expectation on things. One of the things that's been difficult in growing the business is that who we were 9 years ago is not who we are now. How we do things back then is not how we do them now. And sometimes people and clients along the way have a hard time with that transition because people get used to things a certain way. And no one likes change. Change is difficult. But in order to keep evolving, we have to make those changes. We have to keep raising standards, and then we have to make tough choices. So one of the things for me is I'm realizing, because my days are busy and I'm working 6 to 7 days a week right now, and that's okay. I don't mind doing that stuff for the short term, but I'm realizing certain things are getting done and certain things are not getting done. Certain things are getting done really well because I'm in a position, so when I'm at the gym, I can get those things done really well. Some of the behind the scenes stuff isn't getting done as well. So one of the things I'm working on right now with some of these raising standards and tough choices is, what can I adjust in my weekly schedule? What do I need to move around? What do I need to adjust? One of the things I'm working on right now is I realize that for me, the most part, I would do a lot of my t-shirt printing in the evening, where I have my equipment. It's easier to go in the evening. It's quieter. I have easier access to everything and stuff. But the hard part is I'm not getting there till 10:30 at night now. So next thing you know, I'll get a couple hours of printing and it's midnight. It's 1 a.m. And then the following morning, I'm either at the gym for 5:30, opening the gym and teaching at 5:45, or I'm there at 7 to work out with some training partners or some clients. So I've been having a hard time in the last, month or so. It's actually been about 3 months, but in the last month or so, I'm finding that I'm physically tired. So because I'm physically tired, I'm missing some of those morning sessions with my training partners. Because I'm physically tired, I'm not getting to some of the printing in the evening. So I get a little bit behind on some of the orders or a new design. Or we have a meet coming up, I need a whole bunch of shirts done, then I got to go pull that all-nighter. And it's okay to do that stuff once in a while when the hustle requires it, but at 50, and now I'm back to my heavy training cycle again, getting ready for meets, it's pulling on my energy. So one of the tough choices I have to make is I need to figure something else out for my t-shirt printing. So now I'm looking, or by this time I'll have found it, a spot I can put the equipment where I have access during the day. Because the way my day is, when I sat down on paper and looked at things, I found I had a big area of time to do this stuff. But it was during the day. And during the day where I have my equipment placed, it's not conducive because there's another business working in there. Right? And that was a tough decision, because making that choice, that decision, I had to sit down and talk to my buddy and explain to him that it's that classic. It's not me. It's not you. It's me, right? Because I know he wants to help us out. And he's a really great guy. He's a really good friend of me personally, but a really good friend of the brand and the company. So I knew he'd be. I didn't want his feelings to be hurt, right? But at the same time, I don't want him to displace his business. He's doing me a solid favor by just helping me out over the last year like he has. And then, there's also that discussion of having to increase some expenses, because where I moved it, I have to pay a little more rent. But when I look at the big picture, I realize that not getting in there, by not being able to get in on a regular basis, my standards for delivery were slipping. My standards for coming out with new designs was slipping. So I had to make a tougher choice to make that adjustment overall. It's the same thing too when I look at what we do in the gym as far as how we service our clientele. One of my big rules of the gym, our standard is deliver fantastic workouts to our clients. That's what our job is. That's what makes us special. That's what hopefully makes us unique. Because you can do a push-up anywhere. You can do a barbell squat anywhere. You can do any exercise we do. We have a great facility. We have all kinds of things you can do. But let's be fucking honest. You can do it anywhere. So our job is to increase standards so that you want to do it. So the client wants to do it with us at Hostile. It's the same for this podcast. How we started our first few episodes and where we're at now, we've evolved. It's growing. It's getting better. We're getting more feedback, that kind of thing. It's awesome. But it's because we kept raising our standards. One of the standards we had from the get-go, 2 episodes a week minimum, consistently, every Monday and Thursday. That was a bare minimum to get started, and that's made a big difference. It's one of the reasons why we're at episode 131, plus about a dozen bonus interviews, where most podcasts never get past their first 10 episodes. I could have kept doing it myself, but I wanted to raise the standard and do a better job. So we hired Luke from Podcast Wagon to do it. Our producing and set us up. And it's made a big difference. And I know Luke keeps raising his standard. And that's why now he has, what do you got, like 1 or 2 other clients now? No, you got tons of clients now. 13 clients now. Shows running through, and they're happy with what you're doing with them because you've been raising your standards along the way. And that's how we progress, guys. It doesn't matter what we're trying to improve, if it's a relationship, if it's with our families, if it's our jobs, our careers, our personal goals. It's about raising and maintaining a higher standard for ourselves. But that's hard to do, and you have to make tougher choices. But here's one thing I've noticed. And I kind of really got my head around this in the last 30 days. If you keep raising your standards and actively work on holding them up there, a lot of these tough choices get done for you. We're just working on hiring 2 new part-time people for the gym, front counter, retail and stuff. Very slow at doing it this time because we've had some great people along the way. We've had some not so great people along the way. But what we decided we were going to do purposely is raise our standard to who we're looking for. And that makes the decision process so much easier. We have a young fellow with us who just started. He's going to be working weekends, starting him slow, 3-hour shifts, getting used to things, working it and stuff. But before I even hired him, once we had an interest in this guy, a young guy, good guy and stuff like that, good parents, like all that good stuff. To me, that was minimum. But then when I sat down with him, I sat there and I explained what our minimum standards are going to be. About when you come into work, it's 15 minutes early. Nothing less is acceptable. You don't start 15 minutes early. You come in 15 minutes early. So you can come in, you can put your shit away. You can make sure you put your uniform on. For us, a uniform's simple. It's a hostile t-shirt or hoodie, but you have to wear one, right? You have to be properly groomed, right? He has time to come in, and if he wants a smoothie, one of the perks of working at Hostile is you get free smoothies. Probably going to get 100 resumes now emailed after this episode. I'll work for smoothies. But again, explain to them that if you're starting at 3 o'clock, you're on the floor at 3 with your list of what has to get done, and you're going to work. If you don't know something, you come and search us out, right? We sat down and we had a big discussion about the minimum standards overall. Then I sat down and had a discussion with his parents about the minimum standards. Things we won't tolerate. The kid coming in late because mom couldn't get him in on time. This is a 16-year-old kid going to be 7. She just turned 16 or whatever. There's a million buses you can take. There's no reason to be late. Right? And let the parents know that these are our standards as well. Right? It's not okay to call 10 minutes before and say, little Johnny's not going to make it. Well, you know what's going to happen? Little Johnny isn't going to make it. We're going to move on and find another little Johnny. It's about having better standards overall. Having pride in your work. Having, explain to him that it's super important that when people walk by, he says hello. Acknowledges them. Not an easy thing for a 16-year-old when they start because they're not used to it anymore. They haven't been taught that. But that's the standard we have. When you walk into my gym, it's a, hey, how are you? How are you doing today? What are you working out on? Glad you're here. Minimum standard. I won't have a staff that won't look up. How many times have you guys gone to a store where the staff are ignoring you? That's not acceptable. I want people when they walk in to feel acknowledged and appreciated that they're there. And then we want to give them a great workout. And at the end of the workout, we want to have a minute chat with everybody. Hey, how was the workout? What did you think? How you feeling? Let them know that they matter to us because they do matter to us. Because that's how we have a business. And that's how we're going to keep growing our business. I just had a young lady order a shirt from me from the States, just emailed me. We sent her the wrong shirt. So I said, no problem. I'm going to fire it off in the mail today. I think I already dropped it off this morning. I know I dropped some packages off. She emailed me back. Thank you very much. She goes, what do you want me to do with the shirt that I have? I'm like, give it to someone who needs a cool shirt. We made that mistake. I'm not going to charge her to have it sent back and then give her a partial refund on it. We made that mistake. I'm sending off the right shirt. I'm eating the second shipping on it. I'm eating the cost of the other shirt. Why? Because we fucked that up. To me, it's about trying to have better standards. She's very happy. And that's a great story. If she shares it with her friends or on social media, we're very happy with it. But even if she doesn't, that's the bare minimum that I want. We're only human. We make mistakes. But the thing is, we do our best to hold ourselves to a higher level so we make less of those mistakes. To me, it's the hardest thing to do, but it's the most important thing to do. Coming back to our personal selves, raising our standards for ourselves, what we will and will not tolerate for treatment to ourselves, by ourselves and how we think about ourselves, and by how others think and treat us. It's very important that we raise. And if we don't raise that self-standard, we're not going to be able to raise our standards for anybody else. If you don't have self-care, self-love, you don't put yourself first in a positive way, not narcissistic, but in a positive way, you cannot be the best version of yourself. And therefore, if you're not the best version of yourself, you limit how much you can help those around you that you care about. Again, not easy though. That means getting up when it's time to get up. That means putting the dishes away when you're done with them. That means taking, doing the stuff you have to do around the house that's your share to do. Because we're always going to be tired. We're always going to have stuff on our mind. So it's easy to justify that. Now, easier said than done. I know I suffer from that sometimes when I get around the house. I'm like, oh, thank God I'm fucking home. Clothing optional the first 10 feet in the house. It's always weird when I find out there's people there, but hey, they know now. But it's the little things like that that make a big difference. There's the, who's that guy that's got the video? He's a colonel in the military, and he starts off, this whole thing is about start off by making your bed in the morning. And the whole premise behind that is that do small, successful things and build on them. And it's funny. There's some issues like that, those little things that we sit there going, how can that be significant? But you know what? It starts off, and even if your day goes to fucking shit within the first 90 seconds, at least you made your fucking bed. You got that one thing, and that's the one thing you can be successful about and hang on to is you made your fucking bed. I think it's pretty powerful. And I know it's definitely a cue that I need to use sometimes because I'm that guy that's like, oh, I got to go jump out of bed. Right? So one of the things I'm working on, going back to this whole thing about standards, and this whole thing's about just how I'm trying to look at my day, my energy, and what I'm trying to accomplish consistently, is I need to come back and look at some of these small things and do them, and then make myself in a position that I have time to do those things. So if I find getting up at 5 to get to the gym for 5:30 isn't giving me enough time to at least make my bed, pick out my clothes for the day, put my laundry in a basket, then you know what I need to do? I need to get up at fucking 4:45 and do that. Then if I'm going to bed at 4:40, getting up at 4:45, that means I probably have to make sure I'm in bed by 10:45 at the latest. And 6 hours is cutting it tight. But that's what I mean about raising the standards and making the tougher choices. If we want to have this success, we need to reverse engineer things and look at what has to get done to get to that point of success. And then we need to structure our day around it. We need to raise our standards. And then we need to fight like hell to protect it and to embrace it and to accept it. We're all human. We all get up some mornings going, what the fuck am I doing? I'm so tired. Well, you know why you're tired, motherfucker? Because you're not raising your own personal standard and taking better care of yourself. So that's what we need to do. And that, again, it's all our responsibility. All comes down to us. And maybe that means we don't get certain things done. Maybe we need to put a couple projects aside. Maybe we need to sit down and look at some of those things and look at balance. I know one of the other areas I'm working on personally is that my personal socialness, right? There's some friends I haven't seen in a while, and I need to just organize a dinner and take the time and make sure I'm available on a Saturday night and I'm done on time at the gym so I can get home, get changed, and head out there and not feel rushed and not feel, again, oh, fuck, I don't have time, I'm tired, and we go into this thing. I need to fix that. I need to increase that balance because I'm so focused right now on the brand, on the business, and on my own training, which is all wonderful. But there needs to be some balance with the other things as well. Right? And for me, that's where I fight a little bit of that fear where there's not enough time left. I'm 50. There's only 50 years left. I also have to understand that I've gotten more accomplished in the last 4 years, the last 6 months, than I did in the first, 46 years. And the first 49 years in 6 months. So I have to have a little bit of faith in that as well, too. And if we raise those standards, we make the better, tougher choices, we'll find better time. We'll have better quality energy, better quality time. We will execute on a higher level of efficiency. So in the end, we're actually probably going to end up working a lot less hard by making some of the tough choices. One of my favorite things is to say is that we do the heavy lifting at the beginning. And if we do enough of the heavy lifting at the beginning, it's a lot easier going through it. And it's true. Heavy lifting, higher standards, tougher choices. You can interchange all those three phrases. But it's really about deciding that you're not going to accept anything less than, whatever standard is that's important to you. And then you need to do what needs to be done to maintain that. And there's going to be a point where that new standard is going to be your baseline naturally. And then other decisions will get made easier. I say no to a lot of things so much easier now because I know that they take away from the other things I'm trying to do. But again, it's not going to be easy. But none of this is easy. But you know what's not easy, guys? Is not being successful and being fucking miserable. That's not easy either. In fact, I think it's worse. But we come to get used to it. So let's suffer for something that's important. Let's suffer short term for something that's going to make us happier long term. That's all I got to say for now, guys, on that. Head on over to hostilegear.com and use a Silverback word code as code for Silverback. Sometimes I make things so complicated. To save 20% off. I think after listening to all that, you deserve 20% off. Get some cool shit, guys. We got new clothing, new merch coming out every month. New cool stuff all the time. So, get in there, get some cool stuff happening. Guys, been lots of support for the brand as well. We're selling the clothing across North America now, which is really exciting. Listen, I'm still a little shitburger. We're just a little, fucking speck of a company on the world map, that kind of stuff. But we're growing, and it's thanks to you guys. And I want to say thank you guys for listening. And I'll talk to you guys later. Hey guys, listen, thanks a lot for listening to this episode. If you know of someone who could benefit from this specific episode or even from our podcast as a whole, I'd love for you to share with them, bring them into the fold, get them to get to know who we are. As always, guys, with the Silverback Blueprint, my goal is to help as many men over 40 and 50 and into their 60s rebuild their lives and just live to the level that they want to live. And I really appreciate if you could help us spread the message, and that would be fantastic.